What is the SuperBrain 1? What does it do? And what is it like? Let's find out together. Hi everyone, welcome to Carrie on Accessibility and to another episode of the Epic Ally podcast where we deep dive into technology and accessibility. In today's episode, we'll be hearing from 7Sense and their new assistive technology device called the SuperBrain 1. It's a piece of wearable tech that helps people who are blind and visually impaired get haptic feedback from their environment. As a reminder, and as always on this podcast, this is not an endorsement. I share content, information, interviews, but that does not mean I endorse this product whatsoever, and my thoughts are my own. This podcast is brought to you by the Carrie on Accessibility members on YouTube and Patreon. If you want to support the channel and what I do here, consider becoming a YouTube or Patreon member. You get exclusive content every week, members only giveaways, and more. Check it out in the links below. Without further ado, let's roll to the interview and I will catch you on the other side. Thank you so much for joining me today. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself and what you do?
Hey, absolutely. Hello, my name is Mihkel. I'm from a European company called 7Sense, and our aim is to liberate blind and visually impaired people and bring them back to society together with or by using our unique haptic technology. And I am my role is on the product development side, but also on all the certification and like regulatory affairs as well. Because one thing is to make something very fun in the lab, but our aim is to bring it to the wider audience. And for these reasons, we also need to make it into a proper product and also available on the market.
Now, am I right in saying that the product will be called SuperBrain 1?
The main version of the product that is already launched in the market, it's called SuperBrain 1. And it's of course a little bit funny or strange name, but the idea is that we are helping to give a little bit like superhuman powers for the people. So that's why it's called like that.
So exactly what is it? Big picture, what does it do?
Yes, so our product, SuperBrain 1, and I have it with me as well. So it's a wearable device. You can use it on your head. From the distance, it looks a little bit like you're wearing like a headband or some just accessory. But the idea or how it works is through the haptics or haptic feedback. Of course, there is a lot of other haptic products on the market as well. But why we are really unique is that we have extreme high resolution for the haptics. So you start to get feedback about the surroundings, what's happening around you through sense of touch, and even in a way that you start to feel the shape and movement and distance of the objects. And we have very good examples that blind people after 10 minutes of usage can even start to catch flying ball from the air. So the high resolution is the main trick, and we are the only company in the world who has that type of technology. So we are really pushing it on the market, and this technology enables to do, of course, a lot of other crazy and not crazy features and opportunities. Of course, we can introduce them a little bit later, but this is the short summary. Wearable, high-resolution haptics device, and to be able to help people understand what's happening around them. And definitely, we don't want to turn people into robots. So this is what quite often happens with these devices, that some technology starts to dictate to people that now you need to go left, now you need to go right. We could do that, but this is not our aim. So we just want to give people understanding what's happening around them, and the decisions will still be taken by the people themselves.
Could you give us a more detailed description for those who are just listening to the podcast of what it looks like, what it feels like, the materials, how heavy it is, all of that information?
Yeah. So how the product feels and looks, and a little bit also about our concept and how we have reached to that point is, as I mentioned, this product looks a little bit like accessory if it's worn. So it's oval shaped device that you wear on the head. The haptic elements are just touching the forehead part. And we have designed it together with blind and visually impaired people. And part of the things we learned during the development is that other devices that are meant for visually impaired people, but also more available on the market, they are typically this kind of shiny, cheap looking white plastic things, gadgets. But we don't want to be a gadget that looks like you're something like it's something like a toy. Uh, we want this our technology to be like your friend, accessory, like part of your normal daily routine. And this means that the material selection and how we have designed it is that it we use different like fabric, plastics, rubbery elements, medical foam materials. So if first impression we usually get if the users start to explore it, you're blind, but you take the device in your hand, you start to experience different types of materials. So this already first onboarding creates the first sensation or the feedback about the discovery. Okay, what we have here is different than other ones. Of course, we use different like braille symbols for the power button and for the charging port and everything. The sensorics, we have different types of cameras in the front part of the device. So we have multiple of technologies to that we are combining. So the device is fully able to operate in total darkness. So we don't need to have like a perfect daylight conditions to be able to use it. It can also operate in the dark conditions, indoors, outdoors, everywhere. So wearable device weighs around 1 kilo, but this is more important than the weight itself is the weight balance. So that's why this oval shape we have found that it's the best for the balance, and we don't have any hanging wires or any obstacles that is protruding. So it's very simple and easy to use. Everything is included, very well balanced, and it's look like an accessory, not just like a plastic toy.
Is there an opening at the top?
Yeah,
Is it
so
open?
top is open. So a lot of people like to refer to it as a helmet, but the top is still open. Yeah, so it's not really like a helmet, but yeah, this is usually what people start to call it.
So you mentioned it doesn't have any wires. Does it connect to your phone? Can it work independently? How does that work?
It's a very important feature that and how we have designed this product, and we even have different AI features and so on. But the concept is that this needs to be able to operate autonomously. So just
Mm.
person starts to wear it, clicks a button, works. You don't need to do any setup with the app, or even for the AI or machine vision features, you don't need to connect to any cloud systems. But we have the availability and the technical readiness to work together with companion apps, plus also like integrate to Google Maps and other things. We don't have it live yet. For the for the smartphone app, we have this like a app that is mainly used for the onboarding. So if we teach the product and we explore the market, then you can definitely configure and sense and feel together with the mobile application. But this is not needed for the daily operation. And we have designed to be in a way that it can be totally autonomous. You don't need to rely on mobile connectivity, different smartphone versions or anything. So it's just take it out of the box and go.
That's definitely a good thing. Uh, could you walk us through the onboarding? Let's say I visit you guys and you put one, I wear one. What do I expect? Like, what do I do? How does it work? Like, what buttons do I press?
How we onboard, this is a very interesting question. And we have like a protocol that we typically do with every person who wears it. And even for the people with sight or who are not visually impaired, we try to follow the same protocol. Then everyone gets the same feeling and onboarding and experience. And definitely what I need to mention is, and this is one of the inspirations for the name of the company. So our company is named 7Sense. And why like a new type of sense or new sensation is that for every person it's a little bit different. And that's why we always like these opportunities to introduce it to the people, to get new feedback and get the new impressions. But how the protocol works, then usually, of course, we prepare the scenery for the first onboarding. There is a little bit of free room, not too many obstacles, and not very noisy in sense of a lot of movement and distractions. Then we first like to, as I mentioned before, that we let people explore the device. So people first can touch and feel and understand where it is, how it weighs, how it's placed in the head. But if this is already introduced, then you can help to put typically for the first time, we help to put the device on the head, but users can do it very well themselves. We put the device on the head, you little bit tighten the straps that we have to keep it nicely in place. And with just one click of a button, magic starts. And about the magic, what we mean is situational awareness, that you understand in real time what's happening around you. And it's not like a vibrating belt that it tells you there's something left or something in the right. So even if you wave your own hands in front of you, you feel the shape of the hand and the movement. And this is the way you start to experience the world. So the closer the object is, the stronger the feeling, the further away it's weaker, and you start to feel the shape of the object as well. And if it's moving, you feel it also like coming from one side to another and in the real time. So this is the first experience with the sense of touch. And after this is passed, so people have been getting used to with the feeling. Usually it takes around 10, 20, 30 seconds. Then everyone wants to already go and explore the world. And typically, that is one of the reasons we prepare this controlled scenery, that there is some like a door openings or first obstacles that you start to experience, how to avoid them or how to interact with these ones. And after few more sessions and after also testing out the AI features and some other bells and whistles, if you're still willing, then typically we also do this ball catching exercises after like 10 minutes of practice.
Ball catching exercises. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I'm even thinking that in a couple of years' time, we should have our own volleyball league or football league or other leagues as well. Because as I mentioned, you start to feel the shape and movement of the object. And if you get that quite quickly adjusted with the device and feeling, you can even start to catch the ball from the air. Or start to play like football, or in America it's soccer, ball on the ground, and it really works. So we have done these different exercises with people, and yeah, I really think that we should open our own volleyball league or other leagues as well, that people can start to play catch and ball and different type of exercises.
So are you doing testing with people that are completely blind?
This is one of many beautiful parts of this technology, and the group of people that we are doing the tests and what we see who it helps, the group is extremely wide. So it's not defined as a kind of medicine for one special type of category of blindness. So it helps very wide set of people with just a little bit limited, like a tunnel vision, or it can be like people who are fully blind. Of course, the user experience and the quality of life benefits are a little bit different for different user groups, but we see it helps very wide audience, and we have tested from the people from the age of 18 until 80, and there is no real kind of like difference in sense of that only young people can use it or older people can use it. It's for everyone, and we don't take away the white cane. So if you are very used to it and you like to use white cane, that's totally fine from us. We don't want to take anything away. And the same about the haptics and why we chose the haptics and why we have put so much effort on the haptics is that we don't want to mess around with any of the senses that you're using. So if you're using your limited vision that you still have, very good, you can still keep using it because we don't block the eyes. The device has the eyes are totally exposed, ears are exposed, so and it's totally quiet. So you can rely on your existing senses and how you have been able to interact with the world, and we just provide extra on top of that. So we don't do any beeping noises or any kind of flashing lights or anything that starts to confuse you. So we just
Mm.
provide extra, and all the other things that you have been used to, you can still keep.
So I want to go back to the device really quickly. Does it only have an on and off button? Are there other controls? Is there anything else that you can adjust?
We roughly have three modes. So first
Mhm.
and most common mode is the situational awareness, that you just feel the shape and movements and obstacles around you. Second thing, that just with one click of a button, you can turn it on, so it's not automatically activated, is this AI or artificial intelligence features. And what we mean about these ones is that the same like in the situational awareness, if you feel the shape of the object, it can be still a little bit tricky to distinguish is it a person or is it a tree or a traffic sign. You need to maybe a little bit practice to get the small nuances. But with this AI, we can give you the direct feedback that yes, there is a person around you on that direction, or if there is a door or there is
Does
a
it say that?
staircase. We actually use haptic animations we call haptograms. Like there is a special feeling in the haptics that you start to know that, okay, this means that there is a person around me. And
Mm.
also the doors and staircases and cars. Each object has different symbol. So there is no sound for that. It's just purely feeling. And why they are
Mm.
useful and why we don't have them automatically active is that it can be very like overwhelming if you get so much information all the time. But there
Mm.
is practical situations that if, for example, user are in the unknown environment, you're going to the new buildings, new rooms, and for whatever reason you want to know where is the exit, you just click a button, you feel okay that way there is a door, and you can go to there
Mm.
and go to the door and exit the room if you want. We don't tell you exactly go left or right, but you just feel where the door is. Same with feeling where the humans are, because we have very nice feedback from the testers that especially my favorite is that when the users they want to use public transportation, and sometimes in Estonia the schedule is a little bit flexible, so sometimes they go a little bit earlier or later,
Mm.
and blind people they want to ask help or guidance from someone around them, and then they just click on the AI button. They know okay on that direction there is a person they can turn to, and then they can ask for the help. So the
Mm.
AI, it's not like a specifically AI product. So you don't need to use the AI features, and the AI features are not a must. But if you want to get extra level of information, it's very easily with one click of a button you can turn it on. Yes.
How do people learn what each item is? Like, how do they learn that this is the haptic feedback for a person, or this is the one for a door, etc.?
How we teach the haptograms to people? There is pretty much two ways how we do it. The main opportunity and how we do the onboarding is usually that we have our partners or institutions that we work with, or distribution centers, or just us and our team. That when we do the onboarding, we just mention to the people or demonstrate these haptograms and help them to learn. They are very easy to understand, and there is not so many of them, so it's very quickly to be able to teach. Other opportunity how we can also teach it is, as you already almost asked, is does the device tell it like with the sound? We don't have any speakers in the device, but we can control the haptics in such a way that you can start to listen, like what this symbol means. So if there is a symbol for a human, you can also hear human on the onboarding. So this is a little bit of the trick or like
You
secret
can
sauce of
hear it?
how.
I
Yeah,
don't
this is
understand.
this is very similar to how the hearing aids work. It's this kind of like a bone or skull audio. So if the haptics are vibrating in the correct frequency,
Mm, oh,
you feel and hear it. But
okay.
it's usually just for some onboarding sessions where we use it. And why we don't have it constantly active is because in every country we go to, we should do the translations also for this
Mm.
local language and onboarding and localization. So that's why we just do these regular like interactions with the users that yes, this haptogram means that. But there is way that we can kind of do it kind of like a automatic way as well. That the device itself, uh, in addition to the haptogram, it also says, but even without the audio, but just using the haptics.
Thank you for sharing that. Now, go ahead and tell us about the third mode.
Yeah, the third mode, this is actually one of my favorite because most of the technologies for or the assistive technologies on the market or other devices, they are mainly kind of like tools. So they just are typically designed for a specific operation, for navigation or just for like helping with one specific task. But why I like it with our device or also to show what we can do with the haptics is the third button is a little bit like a fun mode or like a games mode. So there is this different like animations and different features. Like some people like use it for a head massage. Just the haptics are doing these special patterns. That's very relaxing and just nice and pleasant to feel. Second is like the same the haptics, like the animations we use for the haptograms, but we really have a, like an audio player, so you can listen to the music with just the haptics. We have tested it with deafblind people even, and they can experience
Mm.
the music with this our device. So it's additional features and kind of like entertainment almost. And third is, as you already asked, that about smartphone applications. So the same, the companion app is that we use on the onboarding and demonstrations. That if user or like your friend is using it on your finger on the touch screen of the smartphone, you can actually feel it on the haptic device. So you can communicate with this like a touch language,
Mm.
not touch like Netherlands, but touch as a feeling. And
Mm.
we have done different like alias games. So someone is drawing a pattern on the touchscreen, and then people need to guess. Oh, it was a cloud, or it was a smiley face, and other things.
Yeah.
This means that yeah, this is about our vision that we're not just building like a gadget or a tool. We want people to be liberated, to
Mm.
experience the world, have fun, and at the same time be safe doing so.
A CoA member wants to know, has anyone ever complained about the device feeling uncomfortable?
Sometimes we get feedback about from the users that the device is either a bit bulky or like for some users it can feel heavy. We designed it in a way that we try to fit as many people as possible, and and I think we are on the 90 or 80% level, but there is still some users that either um, dependent on the head shape and size or the different other disabilities, like about mobility a little bit, they can
Mhm.
feel the weight or the wearing of the device a little bit cumbersome.
Mm.
But the feeling itself, usually it is either very pleasant from the post straight away, or it's a little bit tickly or a little bit funny in the beginning, but after like 10 seconds, it's already, already get used to it. So usually it's more kind of fun or a little bit
Mm.
like a tickly sensation in the beginning, but very, very positive feedback in general way.
Are you able to run and exercise with it? Does it feel like is it secure enough to exercise with it?
We see that people want to go running with that device and people want to go hiking and everything. That for one part of our job is still to make sure that everything is safe and reliable and under control. So officially, we cannot encourage that please go running. But
Mm.
if it's under proper surveillance and under controlled environment, and you have a, like assistants around you, then I think people are doing it even without us knowing about it. But yeah, this is not where we want to go yet, because first things first, we want people to be safe.
Switching gears a little, tell us about the technology and the sensors and how far can it detect all that kind of things, what sensors it has so that it can accomplish everything that it is able to do.
Yeah, so our device has several sensor technologies combined for multiple reasons, and um, our device needs to be able to experience and get the feedback from the world in from both indoors, outdoors, darkness, and lightness. So this means that we have like infrared cameras, different RGB cameras, and even thermal cameras as a sensors. So we are able to detect different scenarios in different use cases. About the distance, so the situational awareness or the clearer feeling about the shape and size and movement of the objects, this usually ranges up to 3 meters. And for different situations, like if it's compact indoor environment, then it's best to use it roughly until 1 meter. Otherwise, you constantly feel all the walls and obstacles from the clustered area. But in the outdoors, usually it's very good to have like a 3 meter range of the feedback. As I mentioned, that we have also the AI detection. This works from the longer distance, even up to 10 meters. So this is for to be able to help people very easily. So if you're in a big room, you click a button and you want to feel where the door is, then you can do it from longer distance as well. So this is up to 10 meters. The sensorics and computing and everything, there is not so many secrets there. They're all coming from the existing reliable and proven companies. So we don't do a lot of crazy magic there. But the crazy magic that we have and is about haptics. So this is that our company has been actually developing the basis of the technology about the haptics themselves more than 10 years already. And this is custom solution just designed by us and made only by us. So this is our secret and competitive advantage that no other company has.
I want to go back to something that you said that it can do up to 3 meters outside. Can this still work indoors? And if so, does it automatically adjust the range so that it doesn't continuously give you feedback about walls and things like that? Or how does that work?
Yeah, this is one of the very nice new features that our device has. This automatically changes the range depending on the scenery. So if it detects that there is like enough free room around it, it's focusing on up to 3 meters. But if it's very clustered, then it kind of like zooms in. So you start to feel just
I
obstacles
see.
and the objects very close to you. Uh, you can control it by the buttons as well, but as we want to make it very easy to use without different menus and a lot of settings, then just automatic mode seems to be working very nicely.
Now, tell us about 7Sense and SuperBrain. What's the backstory? How did this all start? Why are you doing this?
About our background and honest story, and usually people expect that these assistive technologies are coming from individual or the founding team own needs. This was not the case for us. So it was not in a way that our founder was blind or he had a blind kid or something. It was not like that. It was actually more kind of fun story or creative story. The story was that our founder Johannes had a party at Mexico with massive sombrero on the head, and he started to feel the world that if sombrero hit something, he felt the obstacles on the forehead because it was compressing on it. So he started to think what and how it can be used in practice. And now pretty much our technology is a digitalized version of this crazy Mexican party sombrero. And you don't need to touch anything physically, just sense it with the cameras and provide feedback with the haptics. And there was options in the beginning. Do we go to the defense sector? Two different interesting opportunities there, or we focus on the kind of on the positive sides, trying to help people and bring people back to the society, I would say. Then there was just like a conscious decision that let's help visually impaired people to experience the world, and this is very good showcase for what the technology can do. So about 7Sense, something more that we have longer term vision that we want to introduce our technology to other sectors, to other use cases, to entertainment, gaming, like sports, healthcare, in more wider perspective. But our first mission, what we want to achieve and how we can improve that our technology works, is that if we can really help blind people, then the next things are already easy.
Could you tell us about pricing and availability?
Yes. So the SuperBrain one is already available on the market and mainly in Europe so far. We start to get a lot of pull from the US and Northern America market already. So we are taking the first steps towards that and doing the first explorations about the pricing. So the price is around $9,000 and euros, depending on what the currency is doing currently. But this is roughly the price range.
That seems to be a little expensive.
It is significant. But at the same time, what we see, how much it helps people, then it's already becoming not so much of an investment, but more of a like kind of straightforward need. But honest story is still that a lot of the purchasers of the device we see that are coming together with different reimbursement models. So there are different opportunities, either to be covered by health insurances or back to work programs or different social care systems as well. So that is something that we definitely encourage and we try to support on different markets by us as well, that how to get the products reimbursed on different sectors and markets. So we try to help this product to be becoming mainstream on the market.
Understood. Now, a question that I've been asking every person that joins the podcast is, what do you think contributes to assistive technology pricing and it being expensive? Not just for SuperBrain, but for the whole market.
This is very interesting question. So pretty much like why these assistive technologies are typically rather expensive. One of the definite reasons in uh, in Europe, for example, are all the regulatory needs for the technology and what activities and steps and investments we need to take to be able to show and demonstrate and prove that it's safe to use and it's allowed to the market and all the regulatory costs that are related to that. So this is definitely one of the drivers because compared to other developments and technologies, there are these like extra like time and costs and efforts needed to bring the product to the market. Second thing is that this is something that we want to solve with next versions of our device. So SuperBrain 2 and 3 and so forth, is that typically the volumes in like a production perspective are not as high as like some consumer electronics devices like smartphones or different games and entertainment solutions. And that's one of the reasons we see that the current version of the device and with that type of pricing, this is first version on the market that already helps a lot of people. But the next versions, we try to aim to become way more well priced and more tailored for this serious volume, like a serious production. And in the long term, I think we try to reach to the point that it's a subscription based like technology. You don't need to invest like one time payment to purchase, or it's more about either like monthly or yearly subscriptions and way more flexible opportunities on the market. So this is what we are working on already to reach that level. But this means that there needs to be a volume on the market or the sales volumes and everything coming. And that's why we are already working on the next version of the product as well.
Thank you so much for joining me today and being part of this interview. Is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
The main thing that I want to highlight and want to kind of share with the audience and a little bit about our story and vision as well. So maybe the three main takeaways that why and how we develop our products and technologies. Number one thing is that we don't do it for like our team or for our engineers, We do it for the visually impaired community. And this means that we have developed the product together with visually impaired people. And this is extremely important. And we listen to their feedback on every detail and also about how the device looks and feels, and even about the color of the device, even if they don't see the color, but just that it's important for people still what they have it as a wearable. Second thing is extremely important and different as from other technologies of providers on the market, is that we don't want to take anything away from people. So if you use the white cane, you can still keep using it. You rely on sense of hearing and a little bit of vision and smells and feeling the air movements on the skin. That's very good. We don't want to mess around with that. You can still use the same senses as you do. We just provide extra. And the third thing is that we don't turn people into robots. Quite often what happens with assistive technologies is that everything wants to turn people into robots. You just click a button and it guides you home. Go left or go right. Or you get very limited feedback that some technology is deciding instead of you. We don't want to do that. We just want to give people information what's happening around them, and people themselves take decisions. I very much like to highlight that a lot of the assistive technologies on the market, they are tools or kind of one trick ponies, but we want people also to have fun. And this means that there is this other kind of like this alias game or this head massage or the audio type player. Then we want people also to have fun and have laughter in their world and experience the world more. And these have been the main drivers how we have developed the product, what we see from the market, and what we want people to experience. And this is a little bit different than most of the companies do.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and reach out to us and follow our social media as well. So if there is anything cooking on the US market side, then you will be one of the first to know.
There you go. That is the interview. It's certainly an interesting product, an interesting name. I don't know how I feel about wearing something that big on my head. I guess I would have to try it out to really judge, but just looking at it, it feels, it looks, I can imagine that it is a little big. And I'm not sure what to do with my hair. Most of the time when I'm not recording a video, I have my hair tied up, and that's always my problem with hats too. So I'm not sure. Maybe some of you remember I talked about the Meta glasses or just smart glasses in general. I'm like, I want something that I can wear that isn't glasses, but this is not what I was envisioning, and neither was this the price I was envisioning. Let me know what you think in the comments. Would this be something interesting for you? Would you want to try this out? I'm always up for trying out new tech, whatever it is. I love trying new things out, especially for technology. Not so much food, but tech, I'm down for that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you've tried this out, let me know that too. I would love to hear from you, and so would everybody else. It was actually the CoA members that wanted me to do this interview. I shared a poll with them, should I do this interview or should I go work on a different interview? And they basically unanimously said, yes, you should go for it. And I'm like, okay, do what the people want. Got it. That's pretty much it for this video. Give it a thumbs up below. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this. And again, if you want to support the channel and what I do, consider becoming a YouTube or Patreon member. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.